Alright, I think I got this worked out, guys. This is Shane here with a vinyl update. I have a lot to show you. This is a combination of albums, CDs, one cassette, a few 45s from a bunch of different um, stores. So I'm just going to get into you and I'm going to show you the 45s I got first. Because the CDs and the cassette all come from the same store. I'm going to try to keep everything together. So let's just get into it. First one, these are all CDs from, or these are all from England. My brother got for me. Various thrift stores. So first one is Rocket Man, Elton John. That's pretty cool. I like this. It's on the old DJM records, and the backside is Holiday Inn and Goodbye. Holiday Inn's a great song. Not familiar with DJM records, but pretty cool. Mr. Sir Elton John there. I've been getting his older 45 singles from our older stuff from the 70s, so that's pretty cool on 45. A lot of these are kind of from the 80s, but there is a few from the 60s I'll show in a second. The other 70s one is ABBA, Take a Chance on Me, and the B-side is actually a rock song by ABBA called I'm a Marionette. It's a great song by ABBA. You can see the marionette there. You can barely see the ABBA on here. Both of these are from, I think, from 1977 from the album ABBA, both taken from the album, which is a good record by him. I have it on vinyl, but yeah, this is cool. So, all right, let's keep going. This is the two from the 60s, and I love this one. Pretty cool to have on 45, and it has like the sort of in-place holder. Roy Orbison, Oh Pretty Woman, which is cool, and Yo Te Amo Maria, which I think means something like I love you Maria or something. I don't know. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, pretty cool on London, cool to have Roy Orbison in the collection. Good Vibrations, the Beach Boys. This is fucking excellent. You can see that right there, the Beach Boys. And the B-side is Wendy. So Good Vibrations was one of those revolutionary songs the Beach Boys did. There's a lot going on to that as far as mixing in sound production and stuff like that. And it's a good song. It's not my favorite Beach Boys song, but I don't have anything by them on 45, so pretty cool. Now we're going to get into the 80s, and I got a lot of 80s 45s here and one 90s one. And this is one of my favorite songs from the 80s. Really probably in my top 10 songs from the 80s. So it's tickled as pink to get this. I had the full-length album that it comes on, but it's cool to have Nick Kershaw, Wouldn't It Be Good? And Monkey Business, the B-side. So, Monkey Business. I don't know why, but I always feel like I have to show the 45s. Wouldn't It Be Good? And Monkey Business. Yeah, from the album Human Racing, I just really, really dig him. And him and like Howard Jones are friends, Nick Kershaw. So they, I think, played together. I saw them doing not dates, but I saw that they were playing some dates together, and they were both doing almost like acoustic piano versions of their 80s hits. It was kind of weird, but pretty cool. Yeah. Joe Boxer just got lucky and Forget Me Love. I had the full-length album with Joe Boxers. I don't know if I have it anymore. Kind of a soulful, almost kind of reminds me of the Jam. When the Jam went like Town Called Malice, that kind of shit. That's kind of, or the Style Council, maybe that's a better term for that. But that's kind of what this is, like neo soul meets new wave. So, yeah, I like Joe Boxers. Pretty cool. Picture disc or picture. I like picture covers rather than just the ordinary cover that got the cutout where you just see the record. I don't have any of these. These are pictured covers, which is cool. All right. This one was really cool, and this was released as a single in 1983, but I don't think was garnered enough airplay or whatever to become like a big single for him. But kind of cool that this was released in 1983, and you always think of this artist being like from the 70s. Buffalo Soldier, Bob Marley and the Wailers. Pretty cool pick right there. That one, I told my brother to get that one. He's like, well, there's a Bob Marley one there. I go, yeah, just snag it. Just watch the Bob Marley movie, One Love, or whatever the hell it's called. There's Buffalo Soldier. I think one of these versions is the dub. Buffalo dub and then Buffalo Soldier. Yeah. So, yeah, the movie wasn't bad. It kind of made Bob Marley look like an asshole in the movie, which I heard he kind of was. And everybody thinks he was this piece of love fucker, you know. Safety Dance, which I own. I gave my brother a copy of this so I can keep this one. Side B, the B side is Security, of course, 1983. Speaking of that year again, this single was all over the charts, all over radio and Safety Dance, Security, all over the radio and that during around that time period. So kind of interesting. To me, and this single, I don't have it. I didn't have it on vinyl. I didn't have from the album. I'd never had it on cassette, and this is probably the first time in a long time I've had this on single. I've had it before, but not with the picture cover. So this is cool that I have it, and I think to me one of the great singles from the '80s, pop singles from the '80s, and it is Kim Carnes with Betty Davis Eyes, and the B side is Miss You Tonight. I believe this is on EMI. I'm pretty sure it is, yep. And I was just listening to the American Top 40 yesterday, and they had Betty Davis Eyes playing on there. And it was, if you can go back to 1981, the biggest goddamn song in 1981. It was played all over the radio. I remember when I was a kid, this song being played on the radio. And I've told people about how great this song is. And I don't think anybody really cares. You have to really kind of listen closely to the song and the way Kim Carnes sings it, because at first she's sort of like appalled by the character of Betty Davis Eyes, and at the end she's sort of like sort of pulled into this character and seduced. And it's all within about 3 minutes you hear this great singer getting sucked into the song almost completely, and it's an amazing song. One of the best singles from the 80s, in my opinion. I would say best single from the 80s. Pop single from the 80s. Yeah, I would say that. Of course, a lot of people, fuck that, but that's okay. I mean, I'm not, just my opinion. And then this one was really cool. Ace of Base, Don't Turn Around. Yes, the Oswald mix, and Young and Proud, the B-side. I loved Ace and Base when they came out. Even back in the day, I had to admit they were fucking catchy. And everybody was always so, like, quick to compare them to ABBA. And there was definitely, like, a little bit more of, there was definitely, like, something there that would be comparable, I guess, to man, to woman artists. But I would probably, in their shared vocals, but I would stop right there. ABBA was never a straight out dance group. They were more fucking pop. Yes, they had some like Hot Summer Nights, yes, or Hot City Nights, or whatever that song by ABBA is. That definitely is a disco single. And yes, Lay All Your Love on Me is kind of a dance song. I'm not saying they didn't have dance singles, but they were more a pop group. And Ace of Base was truly, I think, a dance group that had pop tendencies. You know, great stuff by this band. Don't Turn Around, and then The Sign is amazing. That song is so good. All right, let's get to the albums now. This is going to be much shorter than I thought, and I'm so tickled pink that it is going to be very short for me because I always go over. These first 10 I'm going to show you were trades I got from All Ages Records in Tampa, not All Ages. I'll show you that in a minute. this was trade for stuff. I bought some albums up there, and this was what I got in return from Mojo's Books and Records. So I picked up some other stuff too, but I don't. I think most of them were DVDs. So and I didn't want to show those, just the music and the trade. The first one is Annabelle Lamb. Annabelle Lamb with The Flame. I like this record a lot. This is fucking good new wave. It's got a little bit of a jazziness to it, and it's a bit like if Berlin had secretly like kind of met a little bit with Laurie Anderson, you know, a little bit, not completely like Laurie Anderson, but definitely there's some Laurie Anderson magic in here, along with like Berlin with the high sense. And I also think she sings a little bit like fucking it's gonna escape me now. I can't remember who I was gonna say she sang like. Maybe Lani Lovitch a little bit maybe. So yeah, this is really fucking high quality new wave. This is definitely something I would recommend to anybody who's getting into new wave or likes new wave. For sure. There's just jazz elements to this I really, really enjoy. But songs on here like Things That I Fear, The Flame, Hands of the Hunter, Weapon of Love. There's pretty good stuff on here. Kind of an under, and it's just on, it's a promo copy on A&M Records. I fucking swear I got every record by A&M. Seems like I get so many A&M records. But yeah, this one was $2. I was like, yeah, I'm getting it. I had like 60 some in trade, and like I said, I bought some DVDs. I don't know where that DVD's at. I don't know if I want to try to crawl and get it, but yeah, Annabelle Lamb, The Flame. I'm pretty sure I didn't show this in my last video. I'm going to be annoyed as fuck if I did. I don't think I did. I don't think I showed this, so I'd be annoyed if I did, but whatever. This is a soundtrack to a one of my favorite movies from the 70s, late 70s anyways. Blue Collar, the soundtrack to this. It's a little beat as far as that goes on the cover and back. You have Keitel, Yaphet Kotto, and Richard Pryor in this. And it's basically a movie about like, you know, basically factory politics and they get out of hand, and Richard Pryor becomes a company man, and it, you know, how does he deal with that conflict with his buddies, who he does a lot of partying with. Shows him like doing blow with these guys in here. But this is a Paul Schrader movie. The soundtrack is excellent. This has got a ton of good stuff on here. Mostly it's just various artists, and some of the music is done by Jack Nietzsche, who goes back to the 60s. I think he did some of the surf groups in the 60s. I think he also did something with Neil Young, but this is like good orchestral score stuff. And it's got a few songs on here. Ike and Tina with Goodbye So Long. Saturday Night Special, Leonard Skinner, great song by them. Jeannie Pruitt with Satin Sheets, the great country singer Jean Pruitt, or Jean Pruitt. And Captain Beefheart, Hardworking Man. I was trying to remember everything on here. Howlin' Wolf, Wang Dang Doodle. So pretty cool soundtrack to have, kind of rare. The movie's good too, so yeah. Alright, this one I just saw like towards the end, and I've been on that weird sort of kick with this group lately, so I decided to snag it. It was $4. The cover's not in the best shape, but the album's in good shape. I just need to tape it up. Best of the Lovin' Spoonful. I like this band. I've just kind of had a secret interest in hearing more of their music lately. I don't know why, what it is. Them and the Rascals. I've been in the mood for these two rascally groups. But yeah, this has got, you know, like Do You Believe in Magic, Daydream, Summer in the City, You Don't Have to Be So Nice, You Didn't Have to Be So Nice, the big hits. It's got Nashville Cats on here, which is terrific. Darling Be Home Soon, which is a beautiful song that Joe Cocker did a cover of. He's actually more famous for it than Lovin' Spoonful were. But this group was a New York-based group. I think these guys were in Greenwich Village. I think they formed there back in the day. Kind of folk. Well, they were a folk group, but they kind of got poppy, you know, on here. She's still a mystery. I think they were kind of like considered a jug band too at one point in time, but they're a terrific group from the 60s. I always forget how much I enjoy 60s music, and then I just realize I don't have anything in my collection that's really 60s. Like, not a lot, you know, like here and there, you know. I'll get a Dave Clark 5 record and think I'm good, and then I'll like, no, there's so much good music from the 60s. I just don't really pay attention. This one I saw in the cheapie bin, and I had them price it, and they said it was $8, and I said I'm gonna get it. And it's shamefully for me one of my favorite artists back in the day. Anyways, I don't listen to him a lot now. It's my first vinyl record of his I've had by him on vinyl in a long fucking time, and it's a shame because he's one of the all-time rock greats. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers with Hard Promises. Amazing shit. I don't need to say anything. This was the album he made. The follow-up to Damn the Torpedoes came out in 1981. This is the album where Tom was just basically saying, I'm not going to let people fucking pay outrageous prices for my albums, and wanted a central price. He didn't record stores pricing at $13, $14. He wanted it at $7.98 or whatever the fuck it was. So ironically, I bought this probably for what the price was back in the day, $7, $8, probably. Ironically, this is almost like word for word, song for song, almost like a match up of a clone of Damn the Torpedoes. I think the thing that makes it different for me is I think that actually, and I'm probably going to be getting shit for it, but I think the songwriting is actually better, because he has some of the best written songs he's ever done. Night Watchman, The Insider is on here, The Criminal Kind. Those are some of the best written songs Tom Petty ever had, and this has got his big hit on here, The Waiting, which is a top 5 all-time favorite song for me by Tom Petty. And I love the song on here. Well, A Woman in Me is on here too, which is cool. But I love the song on here, King's Road. It's so fucking catchy and up-tempo. So I like this record actually more than Damn the Torpedoes, which is insane because that's a classic record by him. So maybe slowly I'll start picking up his records. Back in the day, my friend Michelle had this on vinyl. She only had like a handful of vinyl, but everything she had was like magic. She had this cream Disraeli gears. She had this. She had some classical music, and everything she had I wanted. I'm like, ooh, what did I take? You know, because I thought it was intriguing because I hadn't seen those records around in a long time, and she was like really young when it, you know, awesome person. To this day, anyways. All right, let's get into the end part here. I only got a few more albums left to show you. These were, when I go to Mojo's, I go usually into their hardcore section, and I was not disappointed with the 2 hardcore records I got from there. This is Sunday Morning Einsteins with, what is it? Yeah, Swedish Hardcore Must Die. This is the back of there. I think this is just on black vinyl. I'm going to pull up the vinyl. This is just really good fucking like street punk hardcore from Sweden. Yeah, I don't know why they say that, but this is some kickin', like just great hardcore. No metal, no crust or anything, just straight up street sort of oi into hardcore. I guess I will pull it out. I love me some hardcore. I mean, if you watch this channel, you know it's so fucking true. I love me some hardcore. As a matter of fact, you guys are gonna have to get used to it because I got more hardcore coming later. A lot more. Well, I don't know about a lot more, but some more. But yeah, this is really, really, really good. Swedish hardcore. So I'm really happy to get it. Sunday Morning Einsteins. I'm not sure if I like the name of the band, but this is kicking. All right. So This next one was I listened to this whole record. It took me like a few times to get to a point where if I was gonna like this or not, and I was like, yeah, I kind of like it. It is The Addiction with I don't even want to say it. Alien Razar, punk, Alien Razar punk, street punk from Japan. Good stuff. This is kind of really kind of melodic in a way, and not as like, there you guys go, you get a close up. Not as fucking like flagrantly hardcore as I wanted it to be, but it's like street punk. It's kind of melodic. It surprised me. I know I said that word like 4 times. Yeah. Japanese hardcore, like Japanese punk is great, but like it's kind of a mixed bag for me. Unless it's hardcore, I don't like all just Japanese punk bands just because they're from Japan doesn't make it good. But this was pretty good. Not anything I'd write like to write hard from home about. But this was $10. But like I said, I got it in trade. And the last but not least, from all ages that I picked up, I got Alien Sex Fiend. This one I'm really happy to get. This is not in great shape. This is all our yesterdays on Anagram Records. So really early 1988 compilation of, I want to say a few 12 inches and 7 inches. Still early on in the Alien Sex Fiend camp. I was fucking happy to get this. The record itself is beady at best on Anagram. You can probably even see the scratches on there. I don't think you can. But it will play. Side 1's got some scratches. Side 2's worse than side 1. But I'm going to try to give it a shot. Anyways, I mean, I feel like I got this in trade, so it's not like I spent money on it personally. I don't know if I would have gotten this if it had, I mean, it's beat the hell up, but I'll clean it and see if it'll play. If not, if anything, I'll just have it in my collection and maybe tape it on cassette and have it in my collection. But I don't even know if I want to do that because it'll sound like shit. But I love this band, gothic rock from England. With a sense of humor, this band is fucking amazing. I've loved this band for a long fucking time, so yeah, fucking awesome, man. So happy to get an old Alien Sex Fiend on vinyl. Yeah, very cool, very cool. All right, these are the next. I don't know how many, 6, 7, 8 are from Jerk Dog Records, and they're just local records. I got a lot more than this. I bought a lot of like common records, and I'm not going to show dollar record stuff anymore. I'm going to try to stay away from that. It's just, why would I show you Stick Cornerstone? I mean, everybody has that fucking record, or a lot of people have it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm just going to try to save up time in between videos and just show more high-end stuff. Albeit, I'm going to say the first 4 records I got here were all dollar records, or $3 records, but I figured, I'm not going to take them out, I'll just keep them in. This one is James Brown with Gravity. This is really fucking decent, actually. It's really good. It's interesting. It's produced by Dan Hartman, who was in the Edgar Winter group and also had a big hit in 1984 called I Can Dream About You. You guys probably remember that song. But yeah, he produced this album. And so what you get here, what's interesting about this is that you basically had the same James Brown formula with the horns into funk, into James Brown singing like only James Brown fucking can, with keyboards and overproduction. So if you can handle the keyboards and overproduction, you're not going to be too distraught, because the rest of this is pretty tasty. It's actually pretty good. The first song on here, Gravity, is is awesome. But Let's Get Personal was ridiculous. The over funkedly in hyperdrive funk of What is this song? Turn Me Loose on Dr. Feelgood is ridiculous. Um, Repeat the Beat is great. Goliath is a great funk song. And of course, this has the single Living in America, which was a big comeback single for him in 1986, which was also on the Rocky IV soundtrack, which I'm looking for. But yeah, this is. Look at that fucking hair, man. It's like the same as it's always been. It's like. It's like his hair. I bet you he had thick hair even up till when he died. You know, I bet you he did. Zebra. This album can go anywhere from $6 to $10. For $3, I'll pick it up. It's their very first album. New Orleans own Zebra. I thought for sure this was a Canadian band, but I think Randy Jackson, their lead singer, might have been from Canada, but they're not Canadian. And this has the big hit on here, Tell Me What You Want, and Who's Behind the Door. But there's some great songs on here too. One More Chance, as I said before. The last song in here is kind of a proggy song, pretty long song called the La La Song. This was confusing to me as a kid because I always thought that Zebra was like a metal group because they're on metal compilations. They were on the Masters of Metal compilation, if you remember. You guys write some comments if you remember the Masters of Metal compilation. So like I was super stoked when I was a kid to get that compilation, and Zebra was on it, but I wasn't interested in Zebra. I was more interested in like fucking like Black Sabbath and Y&T and some of the other heavier, Twisted Sister and stuff like that. I was more into that than Zebra, but I always kind of liked this band because they were always kind of lumped in with metal and hard rock, and they're certainly kind of more on the proggy hard rock end of things, I think, than anything. But I've had all their albums, and at least the first 3 or 4, and they're consistently pretty good records. So definitely has a progressive tendency. These guys are known as being like kind of Zeppelin ripoffs, which I hear a little bit, not completely all Led Zeppelin ripoff to me, but that's what they're kind of known for. They were such a strange group in the metal landscape in the early 80s because they weren't really like a metal band. They're kind of like hard rock, and they weren't really completely hard rock either. Very melodic, and as they went on, I think their second album, No Telling Lies, I thought was just okay, and then that third album is so good. I forgot the name of it, 3.0 or something like that. That album's one of the best hard rock albums from the 80s, in my opinion. This next one is really, really cool to get for $3. It's a double compilation of live and recorded material for Pentangle. Yeah, you don't see this for fucking $3. And the album is called Sweet Child. So I'm really, really happy. This is like really early recordings of Pentangle. British folk rock group, progressive folk rock group. They were thrown into like I think prog, but they're not really prog. They're more like, it's more straight up folk, really, if you ask me. Kind of like how, a little bit like how like Fairport Convention was. They kind of had that sound to them too. And the other thing with this group, they had John Renbourn and Bert Jantz. And of course, Bert Jantz has become everyone's hipster fucking favorite. I'll get the Bert Jantz record of Bert Jantz. Which is cool. I mean, his music's good, but everyone's hot on him. Him or fucking, what's his name? Lee Hazelwood. Seems all the hipsters like both of those groups. But yeah, this was a good pickup for $3. There's a picture of the band right there. You guys see that? I'm not really familiar with their stuff. I've had Pentangle stuff in the past, and I've sold it. I mean, I'm not really... I bought this more as to sell than to keep, but I'm happy to have it. I might put $4 on this just because it's Pentangle. So I might put a little bit more on this. I might not sell it down to $1 just because it's a double album. This one was really, really cool. This was a label formed in 1966, I think, as a way to sort of attract blues acts mostly, but they also sign jazz acts and soul acts too. This is Blues Way, a taste of Blues Way. So artist off the Blues Way label. So Blues Way, I think, was a subsidiary of. She sure do got a headache. She sure do. She looks like she has a headache. That's what I meant to say. Um, yeah, this is just good. I mean, some of the acts, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yep, gonna get it. Johnny Lee Hooker, T-Bone Walker. Those were like selling points for me right away. BB King is on here. Jimmy Rushing, Earl Hooker. I'm not really familiar with Earl Hooker, but I believe it is blues music. Charles Brown is great. Jim Witherspoon, Jimmy Reed, the great blues legend Jimmy Reed. Brownie McGee and Sonny Materi. That's almost like kind of a folk blues, I think, if I can remember. And then it's got Ray Charles. And I've been on the hunt for old Ray Charles records, and I haven't had any luck. I just find a lot of his shit, like, I find a lot of his shit is like beat up and not in great shape. And I've been looking for some Ray Charles on vinyl. I get my moods with him, you know. And then I could go years without listening to Ray Charles because he's not really one of my favorites. All right, these three were the more high-end stuff I picked up at Jerk Dog Records. So let's just get into it. This first one is Slang with Destination in Devastation in the Void. That's a Devastation in the Void. Japanese Hardcore 19 I Wish 2014, so a 10-year anniversary off of real life recordings. Yeah, straight up noisy sort of Japanese hardcore. No more, no less. Slang had been around for a long time in Japan, and happy to have one of their records. One of the tried and true bands. This band has been around since the late 80s or the 80s, I believe. So finally have some Slang in my collection, and happy to have it. So yeah, I was listening to some of this really noisy hardcore. This next one is really cool, and I'm not sure how to describe this because it's not music, but man, as soon as I saw it, I was like intrigued. Now, I love spoken word stuff. I love occult stuff. And so if I can find occult or spoken word stuff on vinyl, I'm going to be super tickled to get it. And so I feel that way about this, Aleister Crowley. And this is the Black Magic Masters. Really, really cool. This is on colored vinyl. And of course, the back is a pentagram. I'm not sure what label this is off of. It's limited edition. But most of this is spoken word. And some of it is some of the rituals that he believed in doing that I think he practiced. One of the great occult figures of the 20th century, Aleister Crowley. What a weird dude, too. I mean, just a strange motherfucker. And, yeah, I mean, yeah, I dig him. Yeah. So, glad to have this on vinyl. Really cool. But I need to step up if I'm going to be done. This I got a few weeks ago, and I decided I wanted to add this one because this is part of, like, I think this guy's part of my newer collection that I got. And this guy I've become a huge fan of. And this album won the 2020 Grammy Award for Best Bluegrass Album. Billy Strings with Home. Super tickled to get this. I love Billy Strings. Love Billy Strings. Yeah, he's just awesome, man. Young kid, really young in his 20s. This is came out originally in 2019 off the Rounder label. It's a double album. He will add electronic landscapes and psychedelia in his bluegrass, and I believe he does on this album. I haven't heard one track on here. I haven't had a chance to sit down and even YouTube track it. But I'm fucking tickled as pink. I have his the other album he made with his stepdad, Mean Dad or something like that, which is really good. That's full-time bluegrass, no bullshit. This I think is bluegrass with touches of, like I said, electronica and psychedelia, which I think he even stepped away from bluegrass completely and did like rock albums almost, I think, or at least did that live maybe. But that's kind of what he's known for is bluegrass, and he's awesome, man. Billy Strings, and he's from Michigan, so a Michigan boy done right. He actually lived in Lansing, but he cut his teeth and played live and played in a lot of bars in Traverse City, Michigan, which is 45 minutes away from where I'm from, and so that makes me a little bit proud. I'm Michigan proud for Mr. Billy Strings. So happy to have this on vinyl. Last but not least, in this I did not need, and I'm stupid, so I got it anyways, because that's the dumb shit I do, is I just waste fucking money on records that I don't need. I do this way too much. I will spend money on records that I'm not even going to keep, and I know I'm not going to keep it. This one I'm going to keep because it's part of my collection of this band, but I don't. This is, if I was to ask for like any other five records I could get besides this one, I don't know how many records they made, but there would be.
Oh God, that would be financially.
There'd at least be three ahead of this one, but I got it anyways. Carcass, Surgical Steel. Yeah, this one was $37. Like I said, I had it sort of like, okay, I got $10 here for it. I got $7 here for it. Oh, wait, there's a 20. That's kind of what I do with these kind of records. As I take money out of my record spending budget and I say, I'm going to put 10 aside, I'm going to put 7 aside, and then I got 20 right here, and that's how I pay for them. Because I don't have the money to straight up pay $40 for this. This is supposed to be a real clean sounding record by Carcass. I'm going to admit I've never heard this record, period. And or if I have, it's been a long time. But this is my favorite death metal band, by far and away my favorite one. And I hear them, it's like an instant connection with the music. So, but that's usually the older stuff I like a lot more than, Swan Song and shit like that. But I bought Swan Song not that long ago and listened to it and quite enjoyed it. So maybe I'll like this. But like I said, I've probably listened to this once in my life all the way through. One time. So did I need to get it? No, but yeah, Carcass is a legendary band. So all right, so we're done with that. That is all the records I've gotten from Jerk Dog Records, the 45s I got from England from a bunch of different thrift stores, and then the trade I got from Mojo Records. I'm telling you, that James Brown album is so fucking ridiculous. My brother's like, yeah, you can sell that. I'm like, I might keep it for myself because it's so ridiculous. So the rest are all ages. I've done an all ages show before, and I had even better shit last time than I do this time because my brother didn't have a ton of money. So this isn't a ton of stuff, but it's still cool to have. Here is the bag. So this is all ages part 2. The record store that's in Camden, England, and I'm going there myself next year to finally see what it's like with about 300 or 400 pounds with me. I'm going to spend some cash in that fucker. But this is actually a pin of the band Reefer Madness. You probably can't see, which I got for free. And this little bag right here has some CDs and a cassette. And the cassette is Reefer Madness, Destroy Authority. So really happy to get this on cassette. Street punk band from London. High energy, high octane stuff. I think the energy of this group is really impressive, more impressive than anything. So, really, really happy to have this. The CDs, I got a few. The first one is a CD single. That's why it was only £3 because it's just a CD single, but it is Conflict with Now You've Put Your Foot in It. So, I think this has only got 2 singles to it. Great band, Conflict from, are they from Leeds? No, they're not. Where are they from? They're from England. I can't remember the name of the city, but there it is right there. Off of the Motor Hate label. Yeah, Now You've Put Your Foot in It, and From St. Paul's to Seattle is the other song on here. So, passioned hardcore. This is one of the more political active hardcore bands I think ever. I mean, this band is all about the politics. A lot of songs are about, and it's not politics necessarily of discrimination. A lot of it is like animal treatment and the treatment of poor people and stuff like that. I know they were into like animal treatment. I have one of their albums which is really good hardcore. You know, it's from the same Newcastle. They're from Newcastle, same place Crass is from, same place that Disorder's from. Although Disorder, I don't think cares about any of that shit. Obliterations with Destroy Everything. This is really fucking good. Obliterations comes from a few different bands. I want to say they come from Black Mountain and Saviors, and this is just great hardcore with some street sort of punk involved in it. So this is kind of a super group for punk. So yeah, this one is released off a Southern Lord label, but it's not really like, I guess there's a little bit of a metal thing to it too, but it's like hardcore with little with little elements of metal and definitely some street stuff in it as well. So I really like this. I listened to this all the way through. It's like 20 minutes long. So all right, Condition Dead, famous for Fuck All, another street punk band. This band from, I want to say, is this band from London? Condition Dead? I want to say I think so. But don't quote me on it. I believe it is. That's the back. More your variety, like sort of hardcore with some street in it. Street punk / oi. This stuff is super fucking good. Condition Dead. So I would definitely recommend this for anybody who likes the street sort of meets hardcore thing with some oi in it. This just bounces, man, when you hear it. Like the songs are just, snappy as fuck, man. I really enjoyed this. This I don't know anything about, and I couldn't find anything about it because it's all in some sort of different language. But this is Fob. And it's off, I think this is like Polish hardcore. The songs are not in English. The title is like Ako ne Moses Naparati Sambar Pokvardi Drukum. So I don't know, but we'll see. And this was £5. I think all those were like £2 a piece, but this one was $5. The Verukers with vintage Verukers, rare and unreleased, 80 to 85. Fucking awesome street punk hardcore band from England. Long standing too. The Verukers have been around for a long time. This is as good as like street punk gets, man. This the Verukers just got like it. Got like it. They have a sort of it factor. And this kind of reminds me a little bit of like GBH, but it's definitely more smelly and more street punkish to me. Anyways, I love this band. I mean, they went back from the 70s. I think they started recording in the late 70s. Been around for a long time. And I think this is supposed to be more like kind of a traditional punk than the hardcore, but don't quote me on that. I have a Verukers discography record or something that has a bunch of their songs on it. That's like a great anthology on vinyl. So yeah, very cool to have that on CD. Okay, here is the vinyl. And this, once again, from all ages. I mean, I would have thought that I was going to get a shit ton of views on this thing, but I did not get shit for views on this. Probably one of the lowest amount of views when I did my first England hardcore thing, our England punk records. It just seems like punk doesn't. I mean, there's other people like Vinyl Richie, but I guess he shows other stuff. Or I'm just not, brave enough yet or whatever to be on here. I got about 7, 8 records on here. I'll try to zip through these. I got this magazine. I gotta go through this Maximum Raising Hell. I think it's. I am gonna go through this because I'm gonna find a bunch of fucking records in here. It looks like a kind of almost like a Maximum Rock and Roll. It's got articles in here. See, I think it's in the back. It's got reviews. Let's see if it does. Yeah, reviews of bands in here. Really cool to have. Excited about this. Very, very happy. All right, so let's get into it. First things first is I'm going to show the cheaper albums, and then I'm going to go through the more expensive stuff. A lot of these were real cheap, and then towards the end it started getting more expensive. The first four were like £5 a piece because my brother just didn't have the money. So I'm happy to get what I can get. This one is an EP, not a full-length album, but an EP off of Mi Sado Un Dijo Records. Funerary Pit from Australia. It's an EP right there. Death metal, pretty much. Not melodic death metal, just heavy, like a BDM, almost like a brutal death kind of stuff. Yeah, just really good. And I want to say, I think Funerary Pit is on this black vinyl. I'm not even going to pull it all the way out. I kind of like that. Look how creepy that is. If I do that, will that make you dizzy? Yeah, it's good death metal, and I don't have enough death metal in my collection, so I'll take it. This one's good. This band's from Detroit, and it's got some great female-led vocals on here. The band is Backswing, and this is SOS. There's a lot to like about this group. Definitely grindy hardcore, for sure. Just really, really fucking awesome stuff. Yeah, I just really, really like this. Definitely fucking, it's like metal punk, but it's almost got aspects of grind in it. This is like an EP of theirs. So, and I want to say I think this is sealed. I haven't even opened it yet, so I can't get into it. So, yeah, Backswing, their EP SOS. Okay, moving along here. This is a great band with a really interesting sound, in my opinion. And I think I want to say this band's from Pittsburgh. Yep, Human Investment. Yes, Human Investment with your efforts into humanity's struggle. I think, yeah. Invest your efforts into humanity's struggle. So, Pittsburgh-based band, almost like a super project too. Members of Os Rotten, great Os Rotten, and Anti-Flag kind of combined to do what I think is a really interesting. It's hardcore, but it's mathy at parts. It almost starts off like the album almost starts off like kind of almost like too pop punkish for my taste, and then it gets fucking heavier, and then it gets really weird. Lots of mathy things going on in this thing. Really good. I find this kind of shit intriguing to me because, like, I'm so used to hearing like one kind of hardcore or two kinds of hardcore or whatever, and that's it. Either the classic '80s hardcore, the sort of D-beat crust hardcore that's out nowadays, that metal-esque hardcore that's out too, or and this has elements of like mathiness in it. It's really interesting. And definitely has a pop punk feeling at the beginning, and then it just goes off, and it's so good. So if you've not heard of Human Investment, yeah, here is the insert. Yeah, I'm going to show you real quick. Human Investment has a big poster, which I haven't decided if I'm going to hang this up or not. I think I'm going to hang it up in the background here, but I like this poster. Yeah, isn't it sweet? Yeah. Like I said, my brother's like, you should hang it up in the background. You need some in the background to garner attention. Because my my production values for the show are like my movies, non-existent. Yes, I make movies. If you're ever in Florida and you want to get put in a movie, let me know. Specifically, Bradenton area. I'll put you in one of my movies. That's how unencumbered I am with the whole movie process, you know. Like, I just thought the whole idea of it was kind of silly-billy anyways, that people were like being so ridiculous about it. So yeah, but this is really good. Yeah, and this one was like £5 too. At one point it was £50 and it went down to 10 and then went down to 5. I'll take a chance on anything from this store, All Ages, because most of the time I'm pretty pleased with the results. So I'm happy with what's to come. So all right. No, that's not how it goes. Sorry guys, hold on a second here. Yeah, this is one of my favorites that I picked up. And everything I pick up after this is really, really good. This one's kind of interesting because this kind of goes against what I really like. But I'm finding that with punk, that I'm finding that I'm so open to all of it that I'm willing to give it all a shot. This is Our Funschat. I think this is a German compilation of 3 bands. Pauky. Pauky. Sick of Society and the Vendetta. And most of this is like, these bands are kind of like ska. Pauky, I think, has got kind of like a gypsy punk thing going on in it. But Sick of Society and the Vendetta have like, it's like ska punk. And I really don't like this shit, but you know what? I'm going to keep it. I like those big boots right there. I listened to Sick of Society, and they've been around for a long time. They're an East band, East hard. They're supposed to be like hardcore, but there's like ska elements in it. I swear, or I'm losing my fucking marbles. But the Vendetta is definitely ska punk, and I think Pauky is a Russian band, I want to say, and I think that's kind of more like gypsy punkish. So you guys will correct me if I'm wrong. So that's compilation with 3 of those bands on there. All right, we're getting into the heavy ones now. We only got a few left, and they're all killer. All killer, no filler. Shit. What do you stand for? The band is Shit. London-based band. S period, H period, I period, T period. What do you stand for? This is fucking excellent. Hardcore. With some power violence moments in it. This thing just cracks off the fucking thing. Like, this just is so fucking like, and their earlier stuff, I guess, is supposed to be really, really fucking noisy, but this is just fucking, the first 2 songs I heard on here, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, just super fucking aggressive, big fucking riffs, fucking great vocals, just makes you want to slam dance like almost as soon as you hear that first riff, and then the vocals come in. This is super fucking good. Of course, political based record. I'm not gonna take it out. It's on black vinyl. Won't bother you with that. But yeah. All right, I'm gonna show you. I got a few left. After this one, most of this is going to be fucking. Most of this is going to be like fucking in the classic punk realms of sorts. This is Stiff Meds. Yeah, I'm really, really fucking tickled to get this one. And the album, I think, is just called Tales from the Slab. Love that cover. One of the best record covers for me I've seen in recent memories. I love this cover. Stiff Meds is a kind of a newer hardcore band from London, and I think they're from Leeds too, from both areas. And this thing just fucking punches. It's got elements of like grindcore in it. This is on like colored vinyl. As you can see, it's a weird colored vinyl. But I asked my brother to get this because I've been into this group for at least the last 4 or 5 months, and I really, really like Stiff Meds, and this is a nice debut album by this wonderful fucking band. If you've not heard them, like I said, it's hardcore, but it's got these splashes of like grindcore in it. It's so fucking good, so good. One of the better, newer hardcore bands I've heard. I'm definitely really on board with this stuff. I think maybe when I do these, because if I say it's hardcore, it is hardcore, it is hardcore. Unless you really, really love hardcore, you're not going to get excited about this shit. I kind of figure that out. That's why probably a lot of people don't like. I don't get a lot of views on these more punk ones, but I don't care. I love hardcore. I love punk. So, for the classic punkers who want kind of a more old school sound, I got a few coming at the back end here. This one I was just taking a chance on. I think this band changed their name too, and I'll explain that in a minute. But this is the Sniveling Shits with I Can't Come, which I think was reissued like in the late 80s, I think. But this is off Damaged Good Records. I think the late 80s this came reissued, but classic 70s punk, snotty punk. This band's got like a weird sort of like like how they sing. It's very like the vocals done by Giovanni D'Adamo, who later changed the name of the band to The Hits, which I find funny as fuck. But yeah, like the vocals on here are really strange. Like there he is right there, kind of almost. I don't know how to explain him. You have to hear it, but it's punk from the 70s. A little bit of artiness to it, I guess. But this is so good. Late 70s punk is probably bread and butter for me, along with hardcore. So really, really happy to have this. And I got an album called I Can't Come. I mean. And if you've ever not come before, you know that sucks, you know. So yeah, they're reaching out for all the people who can't come, right? Let's keep this family friendly, right? This one is released off of Frontier Records, and it's a Southern Cal band, and they're credited going back to 1978 with having the very first hardcore single ever, supposedly. I wouldn't know because I'm not a hardcore historian. But this is the Middle Class with Out of Vogue. What is this? The early material. Sorry, I couldn't even read that. Supposedly the single Out of Vogue is the first hardcore single ever released going back to 1978, as I said. This thing has the Out of Vogue EP on here, the TNN Sessions, Scavenged Luxury EP, and early demos. So it's a full-length album. I thought it was only going to be like a single. I would have been pissed off because I think this one was like 20-some pounds. But yeah, it's a full-length album. So I heard Out of Vogue, it's really good. It's really catchy. This isn't like the Southern Cal hardcore that I'm used to. Like, it's got kind of almost like a 70s feel to it. This isn't like a Battalion of Saints or any of that stuff. But it is hardcore to an extent, high energy, angry, really, three-chord messiness, loud. So it is hardcore, but I'm happy to have this. This is like almost having like a some sort of artifact of history on hand. So the Middle Class, I don't know how long they were around for, but so. This last one I got, and this is the last one I'll show you, and then I gotta go because I gotta make dinner yet and edit, and I got so much shit to do on my movie, and so much shit to do. But this one I'm really, really happy to get. I asked the guy in the store if he had any records by this artist, and he went on and bellyached about it, and I'll explain that in a minute. But this is one of my musical heroes, and I say this, there's Cab Calloway, there's Bing Crosby, there's Joe Walsh, I know it's a weird mix, Robert Smith, Gigi Allen, And this guy might be one of my musical heroes too. Just absolutely favorite artist of all time. This is Billy Childish, punk rock, Tist Trick Noit. I think this one was about 30 pounds. This is, yeah, Ist Nick Toit. The Billy Childish story, 77 through 2018. A grail for me to get like an anthology like this on. I think then this one was like 30 pounds, and I would have bought it. I told him I'll buy it. You know, he didn't have to, and he said he'd buy it anyways, my brother. So it didn't come with a, you have this back right here, and this back right here. And these I think are just on, I'm just going to pull one out. I think it's just on black vinyl, but you can at least look at one of the records. I'm fucking tickled to get it. And I get in this Billy Childish mood, and I won't want to listen to anything else but Billy Childish, because he's one of my fucking all-time favorite artists too. Like top 10. I fucking love Billie Eilish. Or Billie Eilish. Billy Childish. Billie Eilish. I like Billie Eilish too, I guess. Even though I've never really listened to her. But yeah, this goes as far as back into his real early punk days with the Pop Rivets. This has the Buffy Headways on here, the Head Coats, the Milkshakes, the Buffy Medways. Did I say Headways? The Buffy Medways. CTMF is on here, the Spartan Dregs, all these bands he did. Lo-fi sort of garage rock that is known as being sort of punk rock, I guess. I guess that's how I would describe it. And he's just been I got one of his anthologies on CD back in the 90s, and I heard it playing in a coffee store, and I asked the guy in the coffee store, "Who is this?" He says Billy Childish. And after that, I was really on fucking board with this guy. I still love him to today. I fucking dig his music a lot. I don't know how to explain it. This is just so fucking good. It's, to me, it's just like it's sort of garage punk, stripped down, raw, minimal rock and roll. And I've been a fan, like I said, since the 90s, and the fact that he went lo-fi. So I'll real quick tell a story, and then I'm going to have to get going. So I was talking to my brother on the phone when he was in this store, All Ages, and he said, I said, well, will you ask the guy if he's got any Billy Childish? And the guy threw a big fucking fit about Billy Childish. And I go, I take it you don't like him. And he's like, oh, fucking, he's an asshole, no. And this guy's like so British and so passionate. And I kind of like the guy who owns All Ages, but he's so like a character. And I said, well, what happened? He goes, well, he played live, and somebody tried to help him out with his amps, and he said he didn't want to play anything but his guitar amp. He didn't want any other plugs for amps in, so it sounded like Drac. He goes, and that's insulting to the audience. I go, but that's his that's his sound. I go, that's how he sounds. That's Billy Childish for you. It's Drac, it's bloody Drac. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's it for me. Well, I'm over an hour as I always am, but not that farther over an hour like I usually am. This will be posted hopefully by the end of this week. It usually takes me like a day or two to post. I swear it takes me a full calendar day to do it, so I apologize. I'm going to Tampa this weekend. I'm probably going to do a Tampa haul along with maybe something else at the beginning of September, probably after Labor Day. I'll probably do Tampa plus whatever else I dig up along the way. And then after that, I don't know if I'm going to be doing much updates at all. And then come October, I'll probably do one big one, and then I'll do one for Black Friday too. And that might be it for the year. I'll probably do an after Christmas one because I usually buy stuff for Christmas. So I definitely see an update almost every month, just not every 2-3 weeks, just because, the madness has got to stop it somehow. Sometime the madness has got to stop. But that's it for you guys. I hope there was something in there you like. Please make a comment if I said something wrong. I probably did. I mean, I researched this shit, but it's so much information to remember. And especially on these punk records, these hardcore records, it's like, it's hard to remember what sounds like which. It's hardcore. That's all I can fucking tell you sometimes. It's just fuck, you know? It's so much music coming at me. But when I go over to England, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do an update for the ages, you know? But these videos that have like English stuff in it, my England pickups usually traditionally are shit. They don't do well at all with views, but you know, that's what I like. I like what I like. So take care, guys. I'll see you soon.